Alright, welcome back to Dark Souls. Let's load up our lovely lady here. Hello, Andre. Now then, since we have gotten all the gear we wanted, well, that's a bit of a lie, actually. Let's do something real fast. Let's strip off this. Are we down to a good roll? Yes, good. What we want to do now is we want to go out here and we are going to pick up two things, or at least attempt to pick up two things. The first of which is the Elite Knight set, which I think is going to be our standard armor until we get to Dom Hall of Xena, from whom we will be buying the, I believe it is Adventurer set. And the Adventurer set is a lovely set with a wonderful, wonderful mask. Whoa, well. Some knock back those tentacles have there, friend. As I was saying, the Adventurer set is a lovely set with a wonderful mask, which we will be using for most of the game, if not all of it, after we get it. I'm a big fan of the Adventurer set. I really like the way it looks. It is a very non-traditional armor set, I think, although apparently the helmet is actually based on a... well, darn. Will teach me to try and run places. Although the helmet is actually based on a real helmet. I have seen images of said helmet. It's a very odd thing with horns and a built-in pair of glasses. The actual Adventurer set doesn't have the glasses, unfortunately. But it does have a big grinning stupid face and horns, which is good enough for me. We need something to cover our... well, we're just too lovely is the problem. I think it's probably the reason why all these enemies are attacking us all the time. They're just drawn to us by our shapely, supple, jerky-like face. So, the item we're looking for is down this away. There's a bush there, another one over there hiding in the mist. Let's see if we can draw him before the other one wakes up. Good, 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 good. You guys have annoyingly long range. Get stabbed. Thank you. I like the R2 on the Boulder Side Sword. It's one of the reasons why I picked it up. It's very much like the strong attacks on many of the weapons in Bloodborne are just straight up thrusting attacks. And thrusting attacks, if you've ever played one of these games, are always wonderful to have, because not only do they do a different type of damage, which is often less protected against, or less resisted by enemies, as opposed to our standard slashing, but it also gives you much better range. If you see, that's the range when doing that. The range when thrusting is significantly longer. This is a hidden bonfire. Always useful. Yeah, we'll rest here. I can't remember if just lighting the bonfire will count as setting it as your spawn point. So we'll assume it won't and rest there, which means we'll have to run back through some enemies, but oh well. That is an item that is not worth it, because as soon as you get it, you can see those little bushes there, 4 of those plant assholes spawn and surround you, and even if you beat them off, poor choice of words, even if you defeat them this first time, they will always spawn whenever you run past this area again. So I'm just going to not pick up that item, ever. And save myself some hassle. As we run through here. The item we want is this one right here. wonderful. And while we're here, since we don't have... Oh, we do have a lot of souls and a lot of humanity. But oh well. I won't be necessarily farming for anything, so let's give a try to Moonlight Butterfly. She, it's apparently gendered, I guess. Starts out up there, by the way. You can actually see it sitting up there when you run into the zone. But Moonlight Butterfly is a fairly easy boss as long as you know the tricks to dodging her, I say, before probably dying. You want to stay roughly in front of her, even when she kind of fucks herself up, like, what are you doing? Yeah, that's what I thought. You want to stay roughly in front of her and roll into the wall to dodge those, and roll through the big projectile there. And it is just a waiting game now. Ooh. She's mean to me. Please land, Mrs. Butterfly. See, we cannot do damage to her while she's flying, or at least I can't because I don't have a ranged weapon. But she will eventually land and allow us to stab away. That attack obviously is a big area of effect explosion, which is a very poor idea to stand under or stand near. Well, damn you. Speaking of big area effect explosions that it's a poor idea to stand next to. That was a kind of a bomb attack she drops whenever she flies over you after you've done enough damage to her. I think it homes a bit, which was my problem there. If you noticed, I rolled back a lot, but I still got hit. It either homes or I rolled early and she led the shot, so to speak. So what I'm going to do is come back up here and try to beat her again. I'll stay out of the Elite Knight armor for now. You can see her up there. I'll stay out of the Elite Knight armor for now because I need a item in order to wear it and maintain my good roll. And while I can get away with medium rolls for most of the game, against something like this, where rolling is really basically your only defense, since your shield won't block much of this straight magic attack, you really want to have the good roll with as many invincibility frames as you can muster. I like the design of Moonlight Butterfly. I particularly like the rotating wheel on her back. There's something vaguely biblical about it. If you know anything about the... Oh darn. Oh, double darn. Alright, and we're back. Sorry about that. It's always a bit of a trouble when the phone rings while you're in the middle of a boss fight, especially in Dark Souls where you can't pause. So, obviously, that went poorly for us and I just kind of let myself die, because attempting to answer the phone and talk to somebody while fighting is not the best use of your time, because more than likely you'll end up having a bad conversation and die. So, let's go get our souls. And let's give that boss fight one more try. Well, and by one more try, I mean let's try it until it fucking dies, because fuck you. Fuck you, Moonlight Butterfly. I said you weren't very hard, but this is my third attempt now. Oop, soul's right there. You can tell where I was trying to hide. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. You can generally, if you get him as he's shooting, and just dodge in one direction and then dodge in the other, you can dodge his attacks pretty much, I'd say, 80% of the time. Because he, with his homing thing like that, he's a he now, by the way. With the homing thing like that, it's rather slow, and it tries to lead itself into you. So you can juke in one direction and then jump back in the other, and it won't be able to keep up, or you'll end up rolling straight through it. And the other one, the big spiky attack, is such that... I wonder if I should just stab at it. The big spike attack is... It's kind of a spray, where the center one is aimed at you, but you can dodge it by just simply moving fast enough sideways, and by staying near to the wall, because the wall partially blocks those lower of the 9, I believe, shots that he fires. He fires 9 in one barrage, I mean. So, really just waiting for him to attack, and then dodging twice side to side is generally the best way to do it that I've found. He has a third attack, which isn't as easy to dodge, and it's this one. Yeah, it's a laser that you have to dodge straight through. And you have to... It's a little bit hard to time because he starts out rather slowly and hit over in one direction. Ooh, boy. Strink. Okay. I think we can beat him here. He starts out rather slowly with it, but he speeds up the swing as he gets in closer. There we are. Oh boy, I was a little bit nervous about the fact that that AoE kept charging even while he died. Alright, let's head up here. This is, if you were wondering, the way you would get into the tower with Havel if you didn't have the Master Key. And that's why we're coming up here and beating this boss, is because that's where I want to go next, is to kill Havel. Havel has Havel's Ring, unsurprisingly. This is the key that I was telling you about. Divine Ember, which lets you make divine weapons with Andre, which are basically useless for all except one area of the game. Well, 2, maybe. And... got my train of thought there. Yeah, Havel's Ring allows you to carry... I think it doubles your equip load. I'm not sure. It's been a long time. It greatly increases your equip load. Let's Homeward Bone it. Homeward Bones return you to your last rested at bonfire. It doubles or greatly increases your equip load, which means you can carry a lot more weapons and armor. As in wearing them. Carrying them in your inventory doesn't count towards your weight. But you can use a lot more armor and weapons without slowing yourself down, over-encumbering yourself. which is really important, like I said, because the speed of your roll determines how good your invincibility frames are, how many of them you actually have. So we want to keep ourselves on the fastest roll with the most invincibility frames if we can manage it. Using the shield will give us some protection, and I really have to get back into using that because Bloodborne, as I was telling you, didn't have a shield. You didn't block, you always dodged. And a lot of the times when I played Dark Souls 2, I used the rapier in one hand and a whip in the other. And so I didn't have a shield there either. So I've very accustomed myself to... Oh, that item up there. Let's get it. Let's get it just to show you. That is the starting armor for... I think it's actually the entire starting gear for the Hunter class. It's the leather armor, leather gloves, leather boots, a longbow and feather arrows, and no, it's not the entire starting gear because the Hunter has a short sword, I believe, and a bow, or not a bow, a leather shield, I think. So it's not his entire starting gear, but it's all of his armor and his major unique weapon, the bow. We're going down here to set our bonfire as this one and to level up. Trundle, 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 sit. Now, what shall we level up? Let's see. Well, Dex is at 20. Normally, what I do in a game, or what I do in Souls, is I level my attack stats up straight to 40, straight in the beginning. Because that, to me, makes it not easier, but a lot of the problem in Dark Souls, or I should say, a lot of the problems in Dark Souls arise from having to fight for a longer period of time than you would like to. It's like you can sit there and dodge an enemy 9 times out of 10, but if the fight keeps going on for a minute, 2 minutes, then eventually you're going to start missing enough dodges just by, you know, the sheer number of attacks you're dodging, that you're going to start taking damage, and that is when it's going to end up draining your healing reserves and killing you, especially me with my limited ones. And often also you want to do the most damage as quickly as possible, because the worst thing in this game is to have to be fighting multiple enemies at the same time. And the ability to quickly focus on one and kill it is invaluable. Hey, Avel. Let's try not to one-hit me this time again. I'd prefer you not do that. Yeah, we're doing better damage now. Doing nearly double the damage we did before. Oh, jeez. Thought I had your back there, friend. Oh. Ooh, got hit by the air on that one. Guys using the anime shockwaves. Again, I dodged straight into that one, but it did nothing but stun me and reduce my... Ooh. Ooh, I wasn't quite quick enough on that dodge. Yeah. I seem to be getting very lucky with some of these. I don't know. I am tempted to try and parry him using the target shield. This one does have a parry, but it's not as good. It doesn't have as many parry frames. Actually, let's see. Let's do a quick test and see if I can even withstand a blow of his mallet, which is actually a giant carved dragon's tooth. Let's see if I can withstand a blow of his weapon on my shield. And if I can't, then I'll just unequip the shield and go two-handed all the time. It probably won't help me. I'm already a fast roll, so reducing my weight won't help any, but... Alright. Give me your best one-handed shot. Joey, let me pick up my humanity. Alright, now give me your one-handed, please. One-handed. Like I said, okay, I can take a single one-handed blow, but I doubt I'll be able to take a... Oh, I can. Okay. Normally, two-handed attacks do more stamina damage, if I remember right. But I am lucky here in that they don't seem to, for me at least. So I am going to try to do this the little bit more cheaty way of just hold my shield up, let him swing while I circle around, and try to get a backstab on him like that. Unfortunately, he's kind of squeezing me out of under his shield every time he hits me, which puts me quite a ways back and makes it hard for me to get the attack I need in on him. Now he's getting defensive. You'll notice I drop my shield in between his attacks, and the reason I do that is because your stamina regenerates faster when you don't have your shield up. And considering he drains basically my entire bar in a single blow, I really do need to have my... Ooh, he got me from behind there. His weapon was so far behind him when he did that swing. Oh, jeez. Luckily, he's not chaining swings in on me, so I have the time to just back up and rest my stamina. Oh, jeez. Come on, Hovel. I can swear I'm behind you. I think you're cheating me a bit here, friend. I think we've got him this time, though. The fact that I'm not trying to dodge his every attack makes it significantly easier. It's like I was saying earlier. You can dodge. I can dodge his attacks. I'd say better than 9 times out of 10. But the fight when you're dodging him, these fights just go on so long that eventually you mess up, and since he can one-hit you, that's all it takes. So let's see here. Let's equip that. And let's see how much we can put on before we go over our weight. Now our weight is roughly 80. And I believe that the good roll stays until 25. So that would be 20, right? Yeah, I can do math. Can I manage to wear the Elite Knight? What does that put me up to? 23. So, yep. Fatterson. At this point, what I want to do is just start putting some points in endurance to make my rolls a little better. Well, let's go with the best armor we can for the weight. Can I squeeze this in? No. Armor tends not to matter that much, but we might as well do our best. I think this... yeah, that's still good. And the best helm would be the Elite Knight. Are we over? We are, aren't we? Yep. This helmet is just too much. This is the game telling us that it doesn't want us to cover our beautiful face. Alright. Armor doesn't really matter that much in this game. It reduces damage to a degree, and some of the very heavy armors are useful because of the poise. Poise is a stat that stops you from being staggered when you're hit. So you can get hit and just keep attacking, which is very useful with certain builds, like ones that use very heavy weapons, because you really don't want to be staggered every time you try to attack. But for the most part, unless you're wearing some very heavy armor or some very upgraded armor, you won't see that much of a difference in the hits you're taking. Generally, if you're dying in 2 hits against an enemy, even if you pile on really heavy armor, you'll still die in 2 hits against an enemy. You'll die to a lesser degree, if that makes sense. You'll go less into the negatives when they hit you. Darn. Miscalculated my range there. Now let's see about leveling up. Or if I should fight the Titanite Demon. Nah. Titanite Demon doesn't really give us anything that's useful to us right now. Titanite Demons give you Demon Titanite. Quite unsurprisingly. And Demon Titanite is used to level up weapons that are created via boss souls. But we have no boss souls right now, I don't think. Oh, we have the soul of the Moonlight Butterfly, which I'll take a look at real fast. But we haven't reached the part in the game where we can actually turn a weapon into a boss soul weapon. I'm gonna get a drink here, excuse me. Strawberry banana fruit juice. It's good. So we have no real reason to beat that demon right now. So there's points in endurance. Up us up to 81. And I think. I've got enough to buy a Titanite shard, so I'll buy that. That's what you really, one of the things you want to do in the early game here is if you have souls and you are going into uncharted territory or even dangerous territory, which is everywhere. Oops. Hold on a second.
I'll be seeing you there. Be careful. I've seen one of those before.
Yeah.
I could.
For some reason it defaults to no for giving him the ember.
Well, thanks, but you've made a fine decision.
He's the only NPC I know of that actually animates his face while he talks to you. Also, apparently, he was originally going to be an important NPC that was the unspoken of or unnamed god of war, one of Gwen's sons. Although popular canon now has Gwen's son being Solaire. But let's buy a Titanite shard, because that's a reasonable way to spend our souls, and it will prevent us from potentially losing anything. That's a good way. That really is one of those things of, if you have souls and you can't level up with them, but you're going someplace where you believe you might lose them, it's always a good idea to dump all of your souls into some items that you'll use. So what we're gonna do is, despite the fact that I've already reached the Undead Parish here and I could go fight the gargoyles right there, we're gonna go through the Undead Burg. First, just to show it off, and second, because there's a boss in there and I'd like to kill it. I can't remember if there's anything we technically need from in there. I mean, it's like I could bypass the entire sewers and the depths area and most of Blighttown just using the Valley of the Drakes bypass there. But I would have to go back to the sewers at some point and beat the boss of the area there that lets you get in there, in order to get the large ember to upgrade my items. So it's one of these things of, while I could bypass things easily, there's no real point for me to do that harm you. There's no real point for me to do that in the long run, at least for this. I would do it a lot in a lot of my other games when I was playing just for myself, because, to be honest, I've beaten this game fully through twice, I believe, and a lot of the other... I've played on a lot more characters, but I almost always stop after Quelog. I get up to Quelog, the boss before the second Bell of Awakening, and I do a lot of co-op. I do a ton of co-op about the gargoyles, and then a ton of co-op at Quelog. But then I just kind of stop because the second area, or anywhere after, I guess Sun's Fortress is okay, and Orlando is okay. But after getting the Lord Vessel, yeah, this is a locked gate. After getting the Lord Vessel in the second part of the game, the quality isn't as good, in my opinion. It feels a little bit more rushed, and it's just not quite on par with the earlier games. As it's it's got Lost Izalith, the land of the disembodied dragon asses, and the worst boss in the game. So, not to mention, the other bosses there are generally not very interesting. I mean, it's got Pinwheel, which I think was originally designed to be a much earlier game boss, because he is hilariously bad. And it's got Nito, which is an ad boss that's alright. And it's also got the Four Kings, which is just a DPS fight. Alright, who wants to see a dragon?